let's talk Playing with Fire. Okay, so have you ever gone to those movies where you know they're not going to be the best, but you think, oh, it's going to be okay, it'll be cute, like nice story, all that kind of stuff. That's how I feel about most kids' movies. Like, I know I'm going to enjoy them. I know the jokes are going to be for kids, but every now and then they have some good jokes for adults, so there's a mixture of laughter. And then it's just a good kids movie. A lot of kids movies that I seem to enjoy these days are the animated ones. A lot of these like live action type ones seem to be like caricatures. Like the characters are so far, they're trying too hard or maybe not hard enough, and then it just makes the acting seem kind of bad. So with Playing with Fire, okay, everything you see in the trailer is like all the funny parts, right? There's some other things, but it's just to the point where it's just not as funny anymore. And even the little kid next to me was like not even laughing at the poop joke. And if you can't get like a 10-year-old at a poop joke, you know something's wrong, right? So we have John Cena in this, and he's the main guy. His name is Jake Carson, and he makes everyone call him like Soup or Captain Jake Carson. He's like this really no-nonsense type character, which kind of fits his personality, right? But then at the same time, like there was one part in the movie where I'm like leaning, like, is he wearing a wig? Why is he wearing a wig? Like his comb over was just so ridiculous. Like I'm laughing at the things that I don't think are supposed to be funny, right? And then you have Keegan-Michael, and I thought, oh, you know, he's good. He's one of those ones where it's like kind of dumb funny, like stupid funny, but you appreciate him because he does those like sketches and you're like, yes, like he's gonna be in this movie. You had a weird mix of all these actors, right? And his character, I forget the name, but he's like the sensitive one who's John Cena's best friend. Like he takes care of him. He's always like out of nowhere crying. Like if you cry, I cry type situation, which was funny like the first time, but then they overplay it throughout the whole movie, which you start to see within this kids movie. Keep in mind, this is like an hour-and-a-half kids movie, right? But when kids movies feel long, you know something is wrong. Like what? Like a kids movie shouldn't have to feel long. Back to Keegan-Michael, right? So his character's like always popping out of nowhere, like handing people tissues, being like, it's okay to cry, like it's okay to cry. And I was over that joke after the first time it happened. And then you had that guy from John Wick, the one that he was weird to me. Like I saw him, I was like, isn't that the guy from John Wick? Like that's the one who deals with the cars, and like why is he in this movie? It threw me off. He's the cook in this one. His name is John, I'm gonna mess it up, Leguizamo? I don't know. He can be funny, and like I've seen him be funny in other things. He did a couple comedy specials a long time ago, and then I most recently know him for, like I said, John Wick, and I was like, what is a John Wick badass kind of guy doing in a kids movie? And I know you're supposed to like different character, but I couldn't take him out of that and put him in this kids movie when the acting was just so bad. Like I don't know why it was so bad. You had these good actors, you know, and they just were, it's like they were having too much fun with it or just trying to push themselves to the limit. And it's like maybe they realized the script wasn't the best, or like it's just throwing themselves into the comedy, I guess. But when you let that happen, you get these weird I can't say it, caricature? I don't know, something like that, where it's just beyond, like they are not even their normal personality in their character. They are like, they're being all dramatic, like, oh, I tripped, you know, that kind of thing, right? And you're like, what? And then you know it's bad. Like, you know it's not gonna be the best movie when my girl Judy Greer can't even like save this movie, right? Even her character was just so pushed beyond. Like she was the weird off the wall like nature specialist, really into toads, and she was supposed to be John Cena's love interest, and they just didn't seem to mesh well together. And then for some reason John Cena is like shirtless like 4+ times in this movie. The first time kind of made sense because like he got spilled something on him, and there's this one part where like his captain from a different station's coming to check on him, and he just like rips this shirt off, and you're just like, but why? Like couldn't he just taken it off and put a different shirt on? It's like, is this in his contract to like rip his shirt off? Like I don't understand. There was no point for that. Like I think it was supposed to be funny, but at that point it was like the 4th time his shirt is coming off, and I'm just like, what is happening, you know? And if I'm saying that and I'm like, what, you know, these little kids are like the heck is happening in this movie, right? And then the oldest girl in this movie, can't remember her name, but she plays the teenager in Deadpool, and that same thing where like I recognized her for somewhere, so I couldn't place her, and then half the movie I'm like, you're irritating to me, your character is. And so she played that really well, I'm hoping, because she was also kind of irritating in Deadpool, but like maybe she's typecasted now, which really sucks because no one wants to be the irritating teenager forever, right? But she was doing that, and she was supposed to be like taking care of the kids, but she was always off sneaking around and doing things, and just her personality, like her character, the way she was written, was just irritating, like annoying. It wasn't funny. And that's the thing with even the other two kids' characters. It's not the actor's fault, like the kid actor's fault, right? Kid actors are always hit or miss, but they can only do with what they're given, right? And the middle one, the only boy, he's the middle child. There's 3 kids in this that they rescue, right? And they're taking care of them in the fire station. And he was just like getting into things he shouldn't be getting into. Like all these kids were bratty, and it's okay because like I've seen kids movies where kids are bratty, and like it's okay, like you're understanding, you're like, oh, this isn't too bad, but these kids were just to the point of almost awful, where you're sitting there going like, why am I watching these awful kids do these things? And it wasn't funny. It was, like I said, to the point where it's too much. They were pushing it too much, where it just wasn't funny. They were just really bratty. They were getting into things they shouldn't have been getting into. Like they could seriously hurt themselves, and it's supposed to be like a well-run fire station. Oh wait, he makes a big point, John Cena's character. Jake is always like, no, we are smoke jumpers. Like smoke jumpers, only like 300 out of the millions of firefighters are smoke jumpers. Like he's so into saying that over and over again that like I forgot. Like how could I forget? Because it's a big point in the movie, but that's just how like all about this movie was. Like it's jumping from different spots, and you got these kids that are so irritating that they're supposed to be taken care of, and then John Cena's character is just, it's mostly him, I think, but then his also character is not supposed to feel emotions, so he's like this robot, like, call me captain, right? And you're just, what? Like I didn't, it got to the point where, like I said, all the comedy you should have seen, you saw, like everything you would have ever possibly maybe even laughed at was in the trailer. And then you get to this movie and it's stretched out into an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half, I think, not including the trailers, which I enjoy trailers, so that was like the best part of the movie, and that's kind of bad when the trailers are the best part of the movie, because the acting was just so, like, I keep going back to it, but it just got to the point where, like, it wasn't really funny, because you saw all the funny bits, or supposed to be funny bits in the trailer. The 3 kids that were supposed to be the main kids that you're supposed to be, I guess, rooting for, were so bratty that you're just kind of over it. Like, the character, you know, Keegan-Michael's character, like, tossing tissues everywhere, you're just like, what? And then you have the John Leguizamo something, you know, the John Wick guy, his character was the cook, and he couldn't cook, which was supposed to be the gag, and then he couldn't fly, and he's supposed to be flying the helicopter, because like everybody left, and it was just like the 4 of them at the station, and he could not fly the helicopter. Why is he the backup pilot when he's afraid of like fire and afraid to fly the helicopter? Like it's supposed to be funny, but it just wasn't. Like I was laughing because it wasn't funny, you know? And I was almost wondering like when it was gonna be over. So I go and I check, and the director is Andy Fickman, I think, and like I haven't seen anything he's done recently, but he's done a lot of kids movies. Like he did She's the Man a long time ago, and he did Race to Witch Mountain, which I really liked, and then I saw that he also did The Game Plan. So he's done kids movies, and he's done pretty decent kids movies before. I don't know what happened at this one. Like maybe it was the script, maybe I really don't. It was just one of those things where it wasn't funny. The acting was kind of awful. Like it's like, whereas everyone in this movie just for a paycheck? I don't understand. So it was a strange thing, because like I said, the little kid next to me wasn't really laughing, and he even said his mom, he's something about the poop joke, and I was like, if he's not laughing at a poop joke, you know something's wrong, because that's supposed to be funny for little kids. They'll laugh at everything. You could fart and they will just find it hysterical and laugh for hours, you know? It's one of those things where the movie was just kind of all over the place, and like it had sort of like a clear script and vision, but the acting was off, the kids were annoying, like beyond normal kids, kind of bratty annoying, where you just like deal with it because at the end they learn their lesson, or they get turned around, or they realize how they were treating other people. It wasn't really one of those things. This whole movie is Jake, John Cena's character, just trying to deal with these kids and get them out because he has his big boss coming and he wants to get the promotion. And at the end, he just chooses the kids over his promotion, and he takes care of the kids, and he marries Judy Greer's character, and then you're just like, oh, happy ending. And it's like, what? Like, we watched all this to just be like, boom, I don't want my dream promotion anymore. I want these kids, and I want this wife, and I want this house, and I'm happy in my own station. You're just like, oh, well, okay, why couldn't he have gotten the promotion, the kids, and the wife? Like, I don't know. Long story short, little bit of a rant in the middle. I saw it, so you didn't have to see it. I did the sacrifice. Bye.